Big Stone Gap for us was like our Disneyland. I mean, wherever we lived, our dad was news anchor and kind of migrated, nomadically around different markets. But Big Stone Gap, I think, was our emotional center. We got to go back and see our grandparents, where Dad was born, where Dad was raised, and if it was St. Louis or if it was Charlotte or Tampa Bay, we could always go back to Big Stone Gap and kind of hear the roosters in the morning and listen to the water in the creek and get in the creek and pull the crawdads out. And by the way, that all occurred on Wilson Road. So our emotional investment and connection is very deep and hopefully always will be.
Yeah, we rolled deep there for about 4 or 5 generations. So it doesn't get any more Wilson than Big Stone Gap for us. For me, the movie means a lot of things. First and foremost, our grandmother was not only the biggest fan of ours, but also of Adriana Trigiani. And the only bittersweet moment about this was that our grandmother passed away in 2012, so about 9 months before we shot this. And she had been wanting to do this movie for so long. She even told Adriana, please wait till Patrick's old enough to play Jack Mack. So thankfully, due to the constraints of the film business, that happened. For us, that was probably the only bittersweet moment. Outside of that, this was the most personal film that I've ever done, and I just don't think, like you said, even if we did the movie again, it would never be this kind of experience. I mean, this kind of thing doesn't happen, So selfishly for us and for Wilsons, we just felt so rewarded, and it really just made us sort of take everything in, and it felt very grounding to be able to be there.
And to be part of the immortality, the bid for immortality of Big Stone Gap and the people there.
Well, Jack Mack is a coal miner. He's a single man who's trying to find somebody to settle down and have a life with, have a wife, have a family. So his sort of wavering throughout the film is really because his like a lot of men, not emotionally available, and it takes him majority of the movie to figure out that really who completes him, who he wants to be with for the rest of his life is Ave Maria, is Ashley Judd's character. So he's a very soft-spoken, direct man. Truthfully, not unlike our grandfather, who either had a funny line for you or he had some words of wisdom. I mean, Jack is very direct when he says, without an ounce of irony or cynicism, we should get married. He's not saying that to be funny. He's saying we should get married. Like, there's no pomp and circumstance with him. And that's a real refreshing guy to play, that when he speaks, it's going to be important. And he's trying to work out his own feelings as the movie goes along. And that's fun to play.
Well, Lyle Macon, and I am thankful enough to have this little character for a little part of my life. Lyle Macon is the clerk of the county court, and I think he's trying to keep up with the youngins and trying to, he's a little bit older. Certainly, it was
a lot older, really. I'm just like a lot older.
Clearly, it was a good thing I was on set to help him through most of his work. But Lyle was a lot of fun. I mean, and to be able to have the luxury of playing opposite comic genius Jenna Elfman.
Well, whether you're from a big city, a small town, I think there's a sense of hometown. Whether it is your block, your town of 5,000, or just your little corner of Manhattan. This movie is about heart. It's about identity. It's about relationships. It's about remembering who you are, where you came from, and who you want to fall in love with. And I think it's a very broad appeal. You don't have to be from middle America, small town America, to feel good at the end of this movie.
Cherish your friendships and your family. Don't take them for granted. And don't take the community for granted. And I think that's a strong message.